So now we're recording and we are going to begin with the first part of the class, which is regarding your writing, your compositions in general, style, etc. Nadia, do you want to take over and start with what you saw? Shall I do it myself, what I saw? What do you want to do?
Sure, I can start because I can make reference to the Práctico, which was last week. I think I returned all the assignments, all the essays. If you haven't received yours, please let me know because I may have omitted uploading it, but I think I did all my job well. Anyway, it may happen. Now do you remember the poem you had to analyze? It was a romantic poem by Percy Bysshe Shelley called Tonight. Now, maybe if you don't have it at hand, I can share it with you. If only I can get to the part where I can share my screen with you.
Oh, technology,
I don't know
we
how to.
love it.
It would be nice. It was down here, but now I share screen.
Oh, yeah, do you have it?
Disabled participant screen sharing. So you
Good.
disabled my possibility of doing that.
Oh,
Never mind.
all right. I can. Let me. Oh, what did I do? No. Shall I disable it? How do I disable it? Shall I try to share it myself?
Okay, you can look it up, Google it, and just Google the poem and share the screen yourself.
I think I may have the. Let's see. No, I have a mock. Let me finding it. Sorry.
Never mind. We can read it. I can read it for you.
Let me see if it's this one. Coming. It's technology.
Okay.
Bear with us.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, don't you love Word? Darn you, Microsoft. It's opening.
I don't use Microsoft.
I know, because you're cool. I'm not. That's the thing. Tonight, it's that one, isn't it?
Yes, that one.
Good. Then let me. Oh no, it's this one. Share. Shoot. Yes. Is it this one? Oh, I couldn't. Let's try with this one. Oh, is it? Can you see it?
Yes.
Yay!
I don't see a thing. Anyway.
I have it. I can see it, and
it's like up and like now
there.
It was loading.
Okay.
Yes.
Ye of little faith.
Okay, so the instructions to write this essay, I mean, I didn't suggest any thesis statement. Ideally, you would have to find romantic characteristics in the poem, but then it was also possible for you to propose a thesis statement that had to do with the theme of the poem and then relate that to romanticism. Mostly, well, not mostly, but in many cases, the proposal for the thesis statement was rather circular. Like, this is a romantic poem because it has romantic characteristics. Well, that's circular reasoning. You're not saying anything. You're not advancing any thesis. If you say it is a romantic poem because it has romantic characteristics. Okay, what are romantic characteristics? Well, the ones that belong to romanticism. So then it's going around in circles, okay? So it's just basically saying it is romantic because it is romantic, okay? So try to, I know that you meant to identify romantic characteristics in the poem. Try to phrase that in a way that is not circular, okay? Don't say it is romantic because it has romantic characteristics. And then, let me read the poem. Tonight, swiftly walked over the western wave, spirit of night, out of the misty eastern cave, where all the long and lone daylight, the wovest dreams of joy and fear, which make thee terrible and dear, swift be thy flight. Wrap thy form in a mantle grey, starry wrought, blind with thine hair the eyes of day, kiss her until she be wearied out, then wander over city and sea and land, touching all with thine opiate wand, come long sought. Let me stop there and let's analyze what those two stanzas mean. Can you move it
Back
bit,
up.
the first
There
one?
we go.
There. So I think all of you identified apostrophe. We have here a poetic voice addressing what? The night. The night is personified, and personified in a certain way. So it is interesting for you to dwell on that idea of the personification to see how is night actually personified. So, swiftly walk over the western wave, spirit of night, out of the misty eastern cave, where all the long and lone daylight, the woven streams of joy and fear, makes reference to the revolutions of the earth that make night and day, okay?
The turning, right? The turning.
Right? Exactly. So, in this movement of the earth, well, it's night moving from the west to the east, the other way around, sorry, from the east to the west, okay? Where all the long and lone daylight, the woven dreams of joy and fear, which make thee terrible and dear, swift be thy flight. There we have a characterization of night. We have night that weaves dreams. So weaving is an activity traditionally, and this is 19th century, associated with females, right, with women. And we have this contradictory, or at least paradoxical quality of the night, okay? Dreams of joy and fear, that has to do with dreaming, okay? Having good dreams or having nightmares. But does the poetic voice really want to sleep at night? We will see that later. Wrap thy form in a mantle gray, star inwrought. So imagine the shape of what we could say it is a woman wrapping herself with a mantle that is all worked, which has fine embroidery of stars, okay? Blend with thine hair.
Sorry, very feminine in every, feminine and lush and seductive. You know, the embroidery would imply a woman of a certain status. You know, it is attractive. It's seductive, right? Remember that.
And of a certain mystery.
Yes.
Okay. with thine hair, blind with your hair, the eyes of day, kiss her until she be wearied out. So it is the woman that is being depicted there is active in terms of, I wouldn't say sexual activity, but the behavior of this woman, okay, is not restricted by convention, okay, and she kisses day until she be wearied out. So we have a woman kissing another woman. Then day is characterized as male. It says, because we know that because of the pronouns, okay? But we have this sexy woman, okay, that wraps herself in a mantle that is mysterious.
You could say sensuous too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, instead of sexy, right? But all the images that refer to or that trigger visual imagery, but we also have tactile imagery, okay? Well, this all contributes to this sensuality in the presentation of night, okay? Of how night is personified. Then wander over city and sea and land, touching all with thine opiate wand. Well, some of you detected the fact that it's not any kind of wand, okay? It's an opiate wand. And what is the effect of opium? It has a hypnotic effect, okay?
Intoxicating.
Intoxicating. It doesn't get you to sleep, okay? As the slumber of the people that are tired, okay? It causes hallucinations, okay?
Let me interrupt you for a very brief second, Nadia. And it is not about the poem, but it is about the way in which you should all approach a poem. And let me say that in this social distancing paradigm that we have now, you all have access to dictionaries, right? Bilingual dictionaries such as word reference, monolingual dictionaries such as Webster's, etc. So more so than ever, each and every single word that you come across in a poem, in a short story or whatever should be checked. And let me stress strenuously that you are to be translators. We love looking up words in a dictionary. So each and every word should be checked, double checked, and triple checked. And you should know, because the only way in which you are going to be able to produce a proper analysis is if you understand each and every single word, right? And so in that respect, for one, I will not in the test include a glossary, because it's your job to do all the dictionary work, and it will be, I see Ornella here, who is with me as a student in journalistic translation. She knows how I work. Ornella Sartori, if anyone's wondering. So it's your job, and it is not only your job, but it is your passion, because you are going to be translators. So crank up that passion, because this is what we do. We love dictionaries, so work with one. Never mind that this is literature, more so then. Sorry,
Yeah,
Nadia, go
certainly.
ahead.
Certainly. I did include a glossary here, though, just for those words that were old-fashioned, okay? like
Thine,
thou, thine, okay?
wovest, which is
Wovest,
old-fashioned.
okay? Because they might be more difficult to find. They might, I didn't want you to spend so much time looking up words in the dictionary, but those were just the words that I included, and even a phrase, would thou me or something like that.
Yes.
Like, do you want me? But generally, yes, in this context, I don't offer a glossary either. Okay, come long socks. That is, come, I long for you, okay? Now,
Shall I go down?
I seek and I long for you.
Yes.
Sure.
There we go.
Thy brother, when I arose and saw the dawn, I sighed for thee. When light rode high and the dew was gone, and noon lay heavy on flower and tree, and the weary day turned to his rest, lingering like an unloved guest, I sighed for thee. So, what does the poetic voice want? It's day, he longs for the night to come. Thy brother day, and here day is treated as a male entity, okay? They is personified as a man, or at least male. And the weary day turned to his rest, lingering like an unloved guest. I sighed for thee. Thy brother death came and cried, wouldst thou me? Thy sweet child sleep, the filmy-eyed, murmured like a noontide bee, shall I nestle near thy side? Wouldst thou me? And I replied, no, not thee. So the speaker doesn't want the night to sleep, and death, which in literature, recurrently death is compared to the night or to sleep, okay? So death and sleep are related here in the same paragraph. Well, that's not what he longs for. He wants the night, the mystery of the night, the sensuality of the night.
Right. Shall I?
Death. Can you move it up?
Yeah. Up, like to the beginning of the poem, or down?
No,
to the end?
sorry. To down. I meant down.
Okay.
Sorry.
There we go.
Death
Yes.
will come when thou art dead, soon, too soon. And in fact, it did come soon for Shelley. Sleep will come when thou art fled. Of neither would I ask the boon, the blessing I ask of thee, beloved night. Swift be thine approaching flight. Come soon, soon. Okay? Now, we saw several elements that are natural elements, such as, the cave, the tide, etc. Is the poem really about the glory or the divinity of nature? What do you think? Now that we have read it together. Well, because you forced some ideas of romanticism too much on the poem, many people cling to the idea that nature was being celebrated. Well, night is a natural phenomenon in that, well, it is inevitable. It's what the turning of the earth produces. The revolution of the earth around its axis produces the night and the day. Yet the idea of the celebration of nature for romantics was not in this sense, okay? Not nature as something naturally occurring, but nature as open space, the countryside, okay?
Right.
So that's what that's what we mean when we say, well, this love for nature, okay? Not like, I don't know, uh, having sexual intercourse. If you imagine the knight and the speaker have some sort of relationship of love, relationship, or sexual relationship, well, that is natural for human beings. Well, yes, but that's not exactly what the celebration of nature that romantics went for, okay? So it's mostly nature in the sense of what is outside the city. Hmm?
But there is the overflow of feeling.
Exactly. So those were like the two characteristics that were favored in the essays. One was the overflow of powerful feelings, and the other one was this love for nature. Well, the love for nature is quite difficult to prove. I mean, I accepted it at the beginning and waited until you could develop a proper justification for that. And in some cases, it was practically impossible because you are clinging to imposing a meaning that the text does not really have. But the overflow of powerful feelings was developed by many of you, and it was okay. Okay, you noticed the exclamation, the exclamatory sentences, the run-on lines. Well, all the content of the poem,
But
not
of
just the
course,
form.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, the
Yes.
love of nature in this case would be the love of the natural, taking day and night as natural phenomenon, right?
Exactly.
You know, it doesn't mean the
I,
birds and the bees and all of that.
but certainly, in some of the cases, they got nearer. I mean, you people got nearer that idea, and that was better. But the thing is that when you try to justify that by saying that a cave is mentioned, the tide is mentioned, I mean, because there are some natural elements mentioned there, or the restoring power of nature. Well, not exactly, right? I mean, I can accept anything as long as you support your ideas um, properly, right? Now, um, can can you leave the page, Guille, so I can take it?
Yes.
Because if you don't do that, I cannot look at my notes.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, here we go.
Now we are stuck here.
Yeah, I guess. Let me. No, it's not this. Let me. Geez, how do you do that?
At the top, you should have like a red button that says dejar de compartir pantalla.
Oh, that's I could only read dejar de and I thought dejar de grabar, so I didn't want that. Here we go. Yes. You have 9 minutes, Nadia.
The rest, in any case, I will leave my notes. I will upload my notes. So, nature as divine is not something that we see in the poem either, okay? In any case, if nature is presented in a way, it is in a way that is not divine, but rather human, okay? And you try to justify the divinity of nature by making reference to personification, but then that is anthropomorphism and not deification. It would be quite the opposite. I accepted all these arguments about the nature if you were able to develop the argument to support this idea. So I tried to, I was flexible, but sometimes if this was hard for you to do, because that's not really the subject matter of the poem. You notice that most of you notice that there is a strong poetic voice, not to be confused with the author, okay? And Guille said this in our previous meeting, I guess. I think I remember that, and also in his presentations. Now, as to organization, the most serious problem was with the introduction. I'm referring now to organization of your essays, right? The introduction needs to be well organized in that it needs to be funnel shaped, going from the most general to the most particular, which would be your thesis statement. Now, the problem with some introductions was that you start talking about the characteristics of romanticism, but then you move to something else and then retrieve that idea in your thesis statement. So there was like a collection of sentences that were not necessarily related or not explicitly related to one another. So it was just like a catalog of ideas, okay? Well, try to organize your introductions in a way that reads smoothly, that goes from the general to the particular. Each paragraph in the body of the essay needs to have a topic sentence that you develop in that paragraph. And that topic sentence at the same time has to be related to your thesis statement. Don't forget that. And the concluding paragraph needs to give a sense of closure. Try not to sound repetitive in your concluding paragraph, because it is a very short composition, and so I know it is difficult not to be repetitive, but at least try to use different words. The concluding paragraph in a way that is different from the introduction and presents probably the new findings that you discovered in your body paragraphs, okay? In real life, I could say that a concluding paragraph is not necessary, but never mind me, forget what I just said, because this is not real life, and we need and we require the essays to have this structure. I want to know that you know the organization, okay? In terms of language, please, there aren't many punctuation rules that are golden rules, like 3 or 4. Learn those punctuation rules, get a grammar book. There are plenty of online grammar books, and you may have some at home from grammar 1 and 2, okay? So pay attention to punctuation rules. And that's quite basic. And well, in terms of, there were other language mistakes which you are correcting, like relative clauses. They are better constructed than in the other essays that I corrected. Avoid circular reasoning. That's I think my last note as to language.
3 minutes. Sorry, 3 minutes, Nadia.
Okay. So if you have specific questions about my feedback, please ask that in the forum. Okay, so that everybody can take a look, because it may be the question that somebody else has. All right. Shall we move to the other link?
Well, actually at 12. Shall we do it at 12 sharp? Because I announced that that was the time. So for the next period, which will be at 12, and be very, very punctual, because I will open at 12, not before, because otherwise Zoom starts taking up the time the moment I walk in. So just all of you be waiting in the waiting room so that I don't waste time letting you in. Be there at 12. Get a piece of paper and a pen, because I'll be giving you the whole list of things that I have to say. And I'll be talking about the term test too, and I will be revising the main ideas of romanticism, naturalism, and realism, all of them included in the next
All of that in 40 minutes.
All of that in 40 minutes. I could do that in 12 minutes if you ask me. But so we'll both see you momentarily at 12 sharp. Be here. See you later.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a different link, isn't it?
It is. It is. Go to the other link and then get in there. Wait for me, that I am the host, and that is it. Okay. See you later.